Hey,
Rob, that's the greatest story I've ever heard.
right, right. Oh my gosh. I mean, nothing's going to top it. What's the point of even going further?
Oh man,
What's going on?
I'm so glad to hear that you're back from your trip and it's all been good.
Rob, please, seriously, let us get a word in.
Yeah.
I know you like to talk a lot and all, but
Hey folks, how's it going?
yeah. How are we all doing? Sorry, we're a little bit late. I completely spaced out. Ah, there's Rob.
No, Andrew, it was technical difficulties, man. I covered it.
Oh, my bad. See, this is what happens when I don't catch up.
Right, technical difficulty. That's what's up. I had to reload on booze.
Nice. I have to reload on power, so I'm going to duck out of the camera for a second.
Yeah, I probably will do that too. We'll see how long the Mac. It's so easy, lasts so long. See how long the Mac battery lasts.
I have beers, which is like booze.
Beer,
but not.
Mm.
I heard the sound. I heard the.
Yep. I'm plugged up now. And you might notice I'm in a different room.
I did, in fact, notice that.
Yeah.
Tell us why, Andrew. Does it have anything to do with... I can't think of a funny way to spin this.
There's nothing funny about it, Dan. Nothing funny about it. Yeah, we had mold in our house. It's fun. So this is my wife's room. This is her studio. I've got my studio over there where I play and work and do all the fun things. And then she's got hers, which is honestly like a little bit cooler than mine. Like, I don't know. It's pretty neat.
I don't see any Transformers in the background of your screen.
I mean, yeah, I don't see any video games there either. I see a bookshelf, so there's books. Books are cool.
That is a good point. Yeah, there's no Transformers in here, but yeah, maybe we can remedy that one of these days. Anyway, yeah.
I'm going to give you one, and you just take it, and we'll make it work.
Got it. Do it. Hand it over.
All right. Pause it.
Oh, there it is. Wow.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, do your hand like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Dan. I'm just going to keep it right up here out of camera shot.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's why I'm in a different room. What's been going on here is, we found mold in our house.
Now, hold on. You say you found mold. We're like little mold creatures walking around, and you're like, you don't live here.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't actually find them. They kind of made themselves known. Right? Exactly.
Dan knows where I'm going.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that I saw them. I heard them. They kept singing about underpants.
Here we go.
It.
Andrew, feed us.
Wait, Rob, are you suggesting that people don't hear that all the time? It's really weird, the voices I hear in my house saying, Andrew.
Dan, we're going to have a different discussion at the end of this podcast. Right after I cheers you guys. Clink. Okay.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Okay, so you saw mold walking around your house. You're like, hello, mold. And
yeah, and the mold said, well, that was the thing. Actually, so technically we didn't actually see it. We tested for it. We suspected there might be mold in this house. This house is just shy of 100 years old. I'm in a 99-year-old house, and that has been remodeled a couple of times, and maybe not the greatest of jobs every one of those times. So, yeah. The long story is...
Hold on.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds, because there could be other people dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with. So let's give them all the information. What were the symptoms that made you go, you know what? We should test for mold.
That is a good question. So in this case,
there was jello.
There was jello everywhere. I kept putting food out, and 5 days later it would go bad, and I couldn't understand why. Yeah. So normally you would spot mold, right? You would see little bits and suspect, oh, there could be a whole lot more hiding behind the wall or something like that. That was not the case in our situation. Our situation is that my wife has been dealing with a few long-term ailments for a while now. And we've been trying to do different tests, try different things out to find out what's going on, and haven't really gotten a good answer for anything. And so one of the doctors recently said, you might test for mold in your house, because mold just kind of existing in your house, even if you don't see it, can cause some really like sneaky sicknesses. So that was it. We were like, okay, sure, let's try it out. We have no visible signs of it anywhere, but it's an old house. You've been sick for a long time. Let's see what we can find. And yeah, sure enough, when they tested it, so they brought in these petri dishes. Hold on a second. Speaking of adding some mold into the group,
You guys, this is what the chat is about. You talk about mold.
Well, I mean,
How old are we?
only for the last 30 minminutes.
It's either mold or the fact we can't see anymore. We don't talk about a progressive.
We don't need to talk about that.
oh yeah. Let's
Dad, you have to have your light on
let's
your
not talk about that at
transformer,
all.
tiny pieces when you're trying to transform. I was doing that with my pastor pieces, and I was like, "What am I doing?
I have to take my contacts out.
When did I get this old? I have a flashlight on my masterpiece's fingers.
I
So
was trying to read. I want to show the thing that I'm talking about later, but I was trying to read text on a small device, and I couldn't read it, so I had to take a picture of the thing.
We all have our
Zoom it up and
readers.
go, oh, that's what it says. Sorry, Andrew, I totally interrupted.
We're not in
Continue
near
talking
make
about mold.
condition anymore. We need to
No.
rename the channel.
We need to rename the channel. Yeah.
I think we need to skip very fine. Just
Yeah.
go straight to fine.
We've always been
Very
very
fine.
fine.
It's no longer applicable.
I feel like fine condition might be a difficult channel name to get. I don't know. Anyway,
It would
We get
definitely
a lot
have
of
to
trolls.
music.
yeah. So mold. Yeah, if you're kind of suffering from some unexplained sicknesses, you might test for mold where you are because it can be a thing. We don't know for sure. We just found out. The cool thing is you can probably in your area, you can just look around and there's mold removal companies. In this case, we found one that does a test for free. And they brought some petri dishes out and like put them in different places around the house. And it just so happens that the one that was sitting in my room where you would normally see the background, actually the wall that you would normally see right behind me, it got really sick afterwards.
Wait a minute. Andrew, you telling me that you're trusting the word of the company that is going to remediate your mold problem to tell you you have a mold problem?
There is some validity in that.
There
Why
is
does
some
Dan
validity in
sound
that.
Foghorn. Like,
Well, I switched into Southern Lawyer.
oh,
Dan
It's
is
the
a
most
transformer.
trustworthy lawyers, as we all know.
Exactly.
Southern lawyer.
yeah, I was. Luckily, I was able to actually see it. I was able to see a lot, not just the stuff in the petri dish, but the stuff behind the wall because we cut a hole in the wall to go check it out, and that's when I saw all sorts of fun stuff back there.
Plaster.
Did you find?
and
Okay.
tape
Okay.
and-
Right.
Did you find any old beer cans or skulls or anything like that?
No, nothing. I was actually kind
Really?
of disappointed. Yeah, nothing was back there. Yet.
Oh,
I've
I
been
remember
very-
when we knocked out the ceiling in my old home, we found panties. And I was like, oh God, I hope I didn't walk into like some kind of crime scene and now my fingerprints are all over this. But apparently, that's what construction workers do, right? Like they just hide things in there and like whenever you break to freak people out.
Who
Well,
was it?
I mean,
Was
I
it
did
someone
that
in this circle?
modeled
Was it
my,
someone in this
my old
circle?
house. I just, put pictures and stickers and all sorts of weird shit in where I put it up. I did the same thing in the basement downstairs when I put all the walls up.
You have hidden things behind the walls?
Yeah, sure. What's the fun of not having hidden things behind the walls?
So
I mean,
I thought it was this circle, but maybe it was someone else. I know someone that bought a plastic fake skeleton and put it, where it's like two countertops come together, put it in that corner where there's always a big space. So I don't remember who did this. I thought it was one of you guys, but maybe not.
It might have been
Put up-
Travis. That sounds like a Travis story.
it does sound like
Maybe?
a Travis story.
That does sound like a Travis story. Maybe it was.
I did
Oh,
not keep the panties. I was freaking out at first. I was like, oh my God, somebody hid some evidence in my ceiling.
I've been very disappointed to not find buried treasure in my old house.
I thought being 100-year-old house, surely something, but no.
Right?
Unfortunately, nothing of interesting value except, unless you count mold. But
Where are Tina and Maddie?
They're here. Don't you see them?
they're here.
No. Let me see. Let me check. Hold on.
I was gonna say,
No,
put on your transition lenses. Oh yeah.
We've been through this. All right, I gotta fix this. Yeah. So that didn't really fix it. Anyway, so yeah, the next thing you know, we've got to tear down all these walls. So all the walls that you would normally see on camera all got ripped out. They ended up hauling out about, what was it?
Wait, did you just
600 gallons of moldy drywall and insulation and mold.
But was it drywall? How'd you have drywall?
So it was like attached to the drywall. It was infested into the insulation. It had probably been there for a couple of years. This goes back to when we had an ice storm about 3 years ago that froze on the side of the house, and it like some water like seeped up into between the cracks in the siding, got into that area right behind my wall, behind me where you would normally see me. And there's also, because somebody didn't do a very good remodeling job, there also happened to be just some open air exposed in that same like section of open inside of the house. And so it just grew. It's probably been there, like I said, it's probably been there since that happened. That was 3 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, my room is all torn up.
Omar?
Yeah,
What
boss.
is that Star Wars thing behind you?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Hold on. One of my wonderful viewers knows how much we hate Alf on this channel, and by we I mean me. So he got me this custom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That's
Like he
worst
really
thing
goes
ever.
out of his way to troll me. He's also the gentleman that sent 16 copies of Trouble, the hardcover. But yeah,
That's amazing.
wow.
That's
That-
great.
he's a really nice guy, and I'm like, you could have bought me something I really like, but you went out of your way to custom make me an Alf.
Well,
That is the most horrible thing I've seen in 3 months.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
Well done. Well done, viewer.
I had no control over what people send me. Believe me. Alf is probably number one. Yeah, we're running the most wanted Marvel Omnibus poll right now. It's
Where's
pretty
Transporter?
surprising what's in the top 20, because the way that it used to work, this was a mail-in ballot, and it was the Marvel Masterworks forum that used to vote, and they are, of a certain age, definitely past beyond the age of readers. So it was always interesting to see what would make it in the top 20. Last year I started helping, so this is the 12th annual, and we already have twice as many votes as we did last year. And it's interesting to see how much of that has shifted. So before it was like, oh, let's get the Silver Age, some Atlas stuff printed, some Bronze Age stuff. Now we got a bunch of young bucks voting, and it's like shifted the entire top 20 list. It's pretty interesting. I actually like
I was gonna
looking at
say,
the
I
analytics.
think that's
I want a
very
Greg
fascinating.
Land omnibus.
Oh,
What
what?
the young
Oh, what?
kids want to read. I shouldn't say
The youngins. The youngins are
They've been
voting.
reading comics forever. What they want.
So it would be like, to put it into perspective of like Rob's world, this would be like running a poll for most wanted Nintendo game reprinted, like to reprint in top 20 Nintendo games. And up until like 2 years ago, it would have been nothing but old classic Nintendo games, right? NES. And then for the last 2 years, it's been nothing but, oh, let's reprint the first batch of Switch games that just came out.
Young bucks, what are y'all thinking?
So old people like me and you will be like, why
don't
didn't
even
you
know
buy
what
them
classics
when it
are.
first came out? Oh, because you were 12. Yes, that's why.
Yeah. You can't understand the class. You can't understand the current stuff unless you played the classics, right? Like my kids, when they watch YouTube videos and they hear the from Metal Gear, they don't know what that is. They don't play Metal Gear. They just hear a sound, right? You gotta understand. You gotta
My
play.
kids listen to soundtracks of video games they haven't played. Like, well, although they have played Bubble
Mega Man?
Bobble and Mega Man, and what's the other one that they really like? The
Paperboy.
Magical Drop. And of course,
Yes,
into
yes.
obscure things with obscure
kid-
toys.
Your kid and my kid bonded over Magical Drop.
Oh yeah, at the arcade. So,
Yep. They're like, "Hey, you want to play Magical Drop?" And they were like, "Yes."
oh my god, yeah, they tore it into that game. So it would be like, Dan, like, let's get G1 reprinted, and then no, well, which we are kind of living that now, right? With like, there are no more G1 things coming out as far as like the Kickstarter for HasLab. It became a Transformers 2000 thing, right?
This last one, yeah, but I mean that doesn't mean they won't go back to the well.
Shut up, Dan. Yes, it does. That's exactly what it means.
When
We're out of our
when I
prime,
went
buddy.
to, they've been doing announcements every Thursday this whole month, and when I went to Hasbro Pulse to see if the pre-orders were up, they had yet another run of Fortress Maximus up. Like,
Wait,
what now?
yeah, they've re-released that 2017 Fortress Maximus like 3 times now.
With the sword,
released Unicron.
No sword.
you missed out on $20 Unicron, Rob. It was not that cheap, but there was a small window of
Oh,
And
yeah,
when
you
he
did.
says a small window, it was literally like 12 seconds.
yes.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
I am
it was
not
crazy.
crazy for that one. But I mean,
I
like,
tried. I couldn't even get the page to load while it was going.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that doesn't count. That's easy money. Like, hey, HasLabs, because they keep sending me emails because I bought. What did I buy? I don't remember what I think I bought. Like Optimus Prime. Shocking. I bought Optimus Prime from HasLab, and they keep sending me emails, and every time I see them, like, ooh, this is it. This is gonna be the one. And it's just random stuff. Like, no offense.
It's Transformers 2000. I was in
I love
college
Fortress
when that
Maximus.
was out. Why would I want this?
Skinrai.
Yeah, I think I hit.
Wait,
I haven't hit unsubscribe,
They're doing a masterpiece again, right?
Mm-hmm. The leak hit today. The leaked image.
And you didn't text me, Dan? I know it's
I
my
just
busy
assume you see
week of
these
the month.
things.
No, I look to you to share Transformers news.
Oh, well,
I look to Andrew to share mold information, and I look to Rob to share video games.
Today.
Video games and Amiibo.
Which he's been doing really good. He was like, "Hey, by the way, the Poly Mega is back in stock," and I was like, "Research."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm in the middle on the Poly Mega. Like, it is a really cool piece of hardware to be able to play my Neo Geo games, Saturn, PlayStation, Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD. So it's 5 things that it can play. And it plays
they have
well.
Sega Saturn.
Yeah, and
Saturn,
the emulation
HDMI,
is actually,
forget it.
yeah. The emulation is good. It's not perfect, but it's good.
It's
There's a
not
couple
real
places
true emulation, though, right? There's a difference.
No, it's emulation. It's not FPGA or anything like that. But the main reason that I like it is because these systems that I just listed, my PlayStation, actually, this one right here, I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't see it. It is, I can only make it work if the PlayStation is upside down. My Turbo CD, which is over, oh, it's over there. My Turbo CD, yeah, it's over there. My Turbo CD, it takes 15 minutes for the capacitors to heat up. Like, the first time I plugged it in to try to play East, the Ideal Utopia, like, it didn't spit up, and I was like, oh my god, it's my burning in. So 15 minutes later, the game started playing. I was like, Lord Jesus. And the Neo Geo CD, which is right here, it takes forever. I mean, like, it was slow anyway, but it takes forever. So all these CD mechanism games are just getting slow. It's like, you know what?
Well, I mean, it wasn't meant to last, right? I mean, they didn't build things like that. Although my mom and dad's Emerson VCR from 1987 still
working.
What?
Still working, baby.
1987 Emerson. When's the last time Emerson made anything?
Like 5th generation anime that was so copied so many times that it was very soft on the VCR.
That's back when we had tracking
a lot of wear on the heads. There wasn't a lot of information there.
This Poly Mega is like 470.
That's the other thing. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot. I got distracted. The other thing is, when I got my Poly Mega, I got it at launch, and it was $299, which is still a lot of money. But $299 for the things that it did, that's a pretty good investment. It's now $550. Like, I understand prices and things have increased, and for $550, I think you can buy a PC with all the emulators that you want. But it is a cool interface. It does just work. It's slick. It rips everything to M2 hard expansion module, memory module. Like, it's very convenient. It's very cool. And anytime, like, I have people over at the house and I plug in the Poly Mega, someone's always just on it playing everything. Like, it plays things well. It's convenient. I don't know if it's $555 of convenience.
Well, I think, you know, I see this all the time in my comments because of, you know, Marvel Omnis and trade paperbacks and some of the DC stuff with prices going up. And I look at the price, like motherboards. Oh my God, it's crazy how much these things have gone up. So I assume that's one of the reasons why that, and of course the drive, right? Drives aren't getting cheaper because they're making a lot less drives because everything is going digital. So the factories that are still doing it are probably charging more to make, you know, to balance out the, hey, we used to sell 18 times as many of these.
Yeah.
What's happening with the world?
And like, talking about the drive, like every disc game that I put in, it rips it to an internal drive.
I do have questions about it.
Anymore. It is convenient, and if you want to set sails on the 7CR, CDR, download, burn the thing.
Oh wait, this isn't my channel. Go on. Tell me more about the pirate thing.
I'll let you finish, Kanye. So you can download something, burn a CDR, stick it in, and then okay, now I have Clockwork Knight. Take that same CDR, erase it. Now I have Clockwork Knight 2. Stick it. Now I have Sega Relic. You can do this. I didn't know a CDR could last as many times as it can. It's like, man, this CDR's had hundreds of games on it, but that's something cool that you can do with the Polymega. So
it's so weird
validity to it.
Because it doesn't play ROMs. Like, you need a physical thing to put it there.
Yeah, and even like someone in the comments said you can't use an EverDrive. That's correct. Like, it only recognizes, I'm not going to get
official cartridges
and official games. It doesn't recognize.
But you can't use like 30 and the Chinese knockoff cards.
Yeah, you have to use the real things.
Which again, I'm going to come to your house and borrow a bunch of stuff.
They're not trying to get sued. They want things to be legit AF. I get it.
Yo, you got a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga? That's the only. Everything else I got. I got it. All the no. I think I'm missing Burning Rangers. That's the other disc I'm missing from there.
Burning Rangers, my favorite game.
Yes.
Yes,
it's a bunch of forest rangers that catch STDs.
and their quest to find the last antibiotic.
This isn't your mid condition. Oh, it's nice to be myself again.
That's true. You can say all kinds of foul language. No, you can't.
There's no kids watching. This is great.
Right. Well,
no guarantee. I do have Panzer Dragoon 2, and I think I have Panzer Dragoon Saga 4 discs.
Saga's the big one. Saga's the one. Like, every time you go to these conventions, you're like, Omar, it's $500 now, $700 now. It's $1,000, and I'm like, but not this year. Maybe one day.
Yeah, you can't, like, anyone who wants to collect retro games, do it now, because it's going to go like this. Like, I went for you. Thank you very much, by the way. You went to get Metal Gear for the MSX
in Japan,
right? So it used to be like 7,700 yen, which was about $77. It was cheap, relatively speaking. The last time I saw it was like 200, the equivalent of $200. But because
which
of
is
yen,
like the equivalent of $77.
Yeah.
a week, like, it was like, okay, it was more than $77 like it used to be. It was like $100, but still, like, things just go. So yeah, anytime you want to buy something, when's the best time to buy X? Yesterday. That's the best time. Yeah.
X, is that a new? It says something like Bitcoin.
Stop it. Speaking of Metal Gear, I want to talk about some cool Metal Gear gear that I got. So I got this shirt.
Yeah, Rob, I want to hear all about it.
Oh yeah, you went to a convention. Where did you go?
So I was at the Game Developer Conference, which was. Ooh, can I talk about the Game Developer Conference? How much time do I got?
Please.
This is in your channel. Go ahead.
No, it's not my channel. It's our channel. We talk about mold and Transformers and video games and comics.
I love it.
Manga.
Go.
I went to Game Developer Conference, and it was really cool because I haven't been since I started this video game job. So it's been about 6-7 years since I've been back. So it's cool to where it started, where it is. And I got the opportunity to speak in a session talking about our Texas Chainsaw Massacre game and our partners at Xbox and PlayFab and Game Pass. And so it was cool, like talk and now I'm going to be in the GDC vault. Like, that was really neat. And I also met really cool people. I met okay. Quick. I promise I'll make this quick. I'm lying. It will not be quick. So there's panels for like the guys who made Zelda.
We know.
The guys who made Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom, and there's a panel for Super Mario Wonder. So I'm like, ooh, I want to check this out. So I get in line, and the line goes around, it touches itself, goes around the blocks. Like, there's no chance that I'm going to be able to get in this thing. I get in the thing, and the Zelda guys are in the front, and they're talking about the game. It was a great panel. I'm sitting kind of close. So the panel's done, and all the nerds, people like me, are running up. We're like, sign my stuff, talk to my stuff. And remember, there you go, exactly. And I went up to the front, and I wasn't like trying to get anything signed or whatever, but you know me, I like to take selfies with people. And so everyone's hovering around the Zelda guys, and I turn around and I look, and Takashi Tezuka the guy who helped Miyamoto-san make Mario, Zelda, like a legend. Like they have lunch every day. He's just standing right there. No one's around him. No one, nothing.
Next
He's just
to you?
chilling. I'm like, his interpreter's right there. I was like, "Simasen, may I take a picture?" And she was like, "Sure, black dude, go ahead." So I have a picture of me and the dude who helped make Mario and Zelda director. Like, it's a big freaking deal. Like, oh my god, right? I can't believe this happened.
Did
I
he
go to his
sign
channel.
anything for you? Did he sign anything for you?
Then no, you can't get anything signed. Like they're like the handler's like, no, you can't sign anything. But like selfies, like if you're fast, you can't. So here's the other thing. So I got that selfie with this guy. So then it's flopped and it was his turn to present. So he's at the front and the panel is over and they immediately, well, hold on, before I get to that part, standing also in the front with the Zelda guys, and they didn't know, like the crowd didn't know the Zelda guys were sitting up front. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is Zelda guys. So I went up to them, I was like, "Send me my sin. Can I take your picture?" And they're like, cool. And I had on like my Mario shirt and my pins and my awesome belt buckle, and all of them were like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" But they said in Japanese, like, "Oh," they laughed. It was cool. So I took pictures with those guys, and then when the panel was over, Tezuka-san was like escorted lightning fast, like they were like gone. So if I hadn't seen him in the initial panel, there would not be a selfie of me and this guy. I thought that was really cool. See, that's 30 seconds. That's pretty fast. I also met the guy met the guy who made Tetris. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna share my favorite Rob meeting somebody famous story.
Well, okay, all right. Let me talk about this. Let me talk about this guys, and then I want to hear, because I know what you're gonna say, but I want to hear your version of it.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say because I'm pissed. Go ahead.
So I met the guy who made Tetris, right? Alexei Pavin. I'm massacring his name.
Andrew, what's his name?
I showed him because there is an Xbox trailer with me in it with my kids, right? It's like shows him. And it shows like the designer and a couple of champions, and then it's me. I'm like, oh my god, it's me! And he saw that. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was cool. And then I told him about like my Tetrisizing stories, which Andrew, I've told you those stories. Me Tetrisizing people and then getting beaten by lines. Like, what the fuck is that? And then the last thing I said, he dropped wisdom. Let me tell you what he said. It's like, yeah, my girls are young and they play. They love your game. They love Tetris. And he goes, the reason that, sorry, my Russian accent is bad. The reason that they play games is because they see their daddy do it. And I was like, dang, he just dropped some truth. Yeah. And the last meeting that I had, which was my favorite meeting, is because I've been working with these Microsoft folks. I was like, I'd like to shake Sarah Bond's hand. Sarah Bond is a black woman who is the president of Xbox. And I just want to tell her, over the Christmas break, my kids and I were watching this, making the power of the Xbox like documentary. And she appeared on the screen. My kids were like, running around. They see this. They're like, who is that? And I'm like, this is the president of Xbox. I'm like, really? A black woman's the president of Xbox? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like crying, but holding it back. So I just want to tell her, like, hey, my kids saw you on a TV, me as a black man in like game dev. I just want to shake your hand, take a selfie, and be done. No. She was like, I was like, let me do this real quick. Let's go. She's like, no, let's talk. So we talked for like half an hour. We just talked about.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
Talked about life. She was like, just opened up and was just very like, just sharing. And I was sharing things and I was trying to hold back my tears. Like, oh my gosh, she's actually legitimate. She's a gamer. She's passionate. She's all about the business, but she's also about giving back. Like, it was really, 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 really great meeting. Like, and I was just inspired and pumped after I met this. So all that is to say, like, all the panels were learning about something, like bonding over people with like, because the game industry is people were laid off today. It's in shambles. It's a mess. But like being with people who are passionate and love to create things, it was reinvigorating. I want to try and do better things. The end. That's my speech.
Dude, that's amazing. That's awesome.
You've had, you in your line of work, and even before your line of work, you have met some interesting people. Like your Miyamoto story is probably one of my favorite ones. But my all-time favorite Rob meeting somebody, and I was so jealous. And that's when you were in Japan. And I love this story.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You were eating, and your friend goes, hey, that's Hideaki Anno. And you're like, I don't know who that is. So you're messaging me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, Anno's here, man. My buddy just told me. And I'm like, Hideaki Anno. Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Neon Genesis Evangelion. That guy is just sitting at the right, and you're like, I don't know. That's what he told me. And this damn fool, because I thought at first he was like, Yeah, go. I said go ahead and get your picture taken with him because I want to see what he looks like. Because I was like, "There's no way." Rob's an idiot.
Let's see. This is his
He
focus.
got his picture taken with him. I was like, "Oh my god, it is Otto, you bastard!"
So
You
like,
haven't even seen Evangelion.
no. So like, I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he looked like. And ironically enough, on the plane over there, I had just watched Shin Godzilla, which is also directed by Ano-san. So like, I know who he was, but I was like, I don't know what he looks like. I had no idea. Yeah. So that was like, hey, let me take this. He was like, sure, absolutely.
It's just so random that he just happened to be
I
there.
sent
Like,
it to Shane, our mutual friend Shane Bettenhausen. He also was like you. He was so pissed. He was like, of all the people, how dare you?
like, me and Shane are like every one of his movies, and you're like, dude, I think I finished Shin Godzilla.
Dickie, I don't know what. I think I have all of Evangelion on VHS. What?
That was a good
Oh,
story.
there's one more thing I want to talk about. One more thing gaming related. Talking about retro games. There is so in the retro gaming community, it's difficult to play old systems like this on modern TVs because of lag. There's no connections and things like that. Who knew that the power of the world is in my palm, right?
Oh my god.
So there's things you can get called like scalers that can take your old junky like boxes, RCA not RF, but RCA composite component S video, upscale them, turn it into HDMI, and put them on your TV where there's no lag. So when you push the jump button on Mario, it actually does this in real time. So recently, some of the nerds in our group chat were able to get like some of the best scalers you can get. This thing is called. You can zoom in on me, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This thing is called the Retro Tink 4K, and it is a 4K scaler where I can take like my old Nintendo N64 or whatever and plug it into this thing. Look at these inputs.
Look at those.
Oh, those are sexy. Ooh,
dude. That's what I'm saying. Look at this. Here. I'm gonna make
for a second. Rob,
hold on. Look, watch what this does. Watch this. You ready? You get turned on. Oh,
okay.
Rub your nipples. Look at this.
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
Wait.
I see.
Focus.
There it is.
There we go. So I see optical. They don't have S video.
Yes, S video is on this side. On the
I didn't see that.
Oh my god. Start. So there's that.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, News Pooey channel and I were thinking the same thing. No S video.
Yeah, look, S video horrors, it's there. Don't worry about it. Okay, so this, remember I told the story in the beginning of the thing where I was like, I can't see what this says. This is the device. What does this say?
Which one is HDMI and which one is out? You need to put big stickers on there, Rob. How much is that?
We're not going to talk about the price. It's not cheap. But I saved up for it.
I asked because I'm going to need one because I don't have any, like my Trinitron's gone because Melanie made me toss it. I know. That was the deal when we bought this house. She's like, I want that TV gone. I'm like,
It's fair. I get it. But here's the thing.
That was my baby.
Do you have a 4K? You have a 4K TV? Of course you do. This thing, with this thing, you can recreate the CRT look with not just scan lines, but like 3D comb filters and the dot pitch and look on a 4K monitor because there's enough resolution of a 4K monitor and this thing can add the effects where you don't need a CRT anymore. It's perfect.
Man left crying.
That costs a ton of money can make your 4K TV look like shit.
No, what you remember playing on. Think about when your first time you played.
There's something people. Come on, we have people that collect records now. We have, so it makes total sense. Like I remember when Matt Thompson discovered what was it? He was like, because he was making fun of us. Well, first of all, he discovered it 10 years too late, like he always does. And it was like, I think it was like it was Spotify or something. It was like, have you guys heard of Spotify digital music? We were like, what?
Nashville says hello.
Talking about nerdy things, what do we think of the Sandland game? The physical print might be quite limited. Yeah, and it comes with a little statue too. I saw that. That was really cool.
Limited? Mm-hmm. I didn't get this collector's edition. I just got the standard edition pre-ordered.
That's because you're buying that little thing with the SV. I need to know. Hey, text me how much that is. I had to lose my big tube TV last year too, Omar. Dude, it hurt. Like it makes sense. Like we weren't using it, but it was so pretty, and I was like, one day I'm gonna hook up my Sega Saturn back up to this, and
Well, if you get a RetroTink 4K, you won't have to. But yeah, there's a point of contingency because these things are humongous. Our mutual friend Darren, his wife was like, "Get this crap out of here," and I was like, "I'll take it." And I didn't tell my wife, so Darren comes in with this giant Trinitron consumer TV, and it's gorgeous. It's calibrated. It's actually the same thing as the one right there, but it's slightly different model. And we put it down in the video game area, and we plug in some stuff, and it looks great. And then he leaves. My wife goes, "You forgetting something?" And he was like, and then ran out the door. Like even now, I don't even want to bring it up because she's like, so I try to just like cover it up with things so she doesn't notice that it's there.
I love it. Dan, what have you been up to lately?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have anything exciting to say. About to go on
That
vacation.
is not true.
So
About to go on vacation? That's exciting. Where are you going?
Grand Canyon.
hey, we're going that way.
So just like Bob Budiansky, I can go there and then write it off on my taxes when I put it in Transformers comics.
I'm sure nobody.
Wow, that was such an obscure call. That was wonderful.
Like 10 years ago. Woohoo! Deep cuts. I picked up Action Master Prime the other day.
What? Hold on. Zoom in.
It's the classic stuff. Classic.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Oh man.
So
Man, every time I talk to you, Dan, I end up accidentally buying like Transformer stuff. Stop it.
It happens. It happens. Somehow every time I talk to you, Rob, I don't end up buying old expensive video game systems.
That doesn't help.
Let's see.
Rob, what is that thing called again?
RetroTink 4K.
Okay. Go on,
I'll
Dan.
send you a link right
I
now.
don't
Go
really
ahead.
have anything.
Did you kickstart it? Transformers 2000?
The Super Fire Convoy? Of course.
Damn, I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. And you texted me, and I was like, I'm still on the fence. I just don't have the nostalgia for that era. What, Car Robots 2000? What was it called?
Oh, see, that's when I really got back into things. I mean, because I was buying Beast Wars, and I'd gotten quite a bit of it, but then Beast Machines like kind of knocked me back out. And then Car Robots comes along, and it's like, oh, give me all of this. And I know there's a lot of angst over the years for like the Autobot brothers and their shell forming and all that, but man, and you can still get those guys so cheap, and I love those toys. So I love that whole era, and that the combining Prime and Magnus. I mean, for all that Magnus by himself is a really cruddy toy, Super Fire Convoy what is it? God Master Super. I don't even remember what he's called.
God Master Super sounds about right.
That's what it is.
I'm curious. Have you read the Skybound Transformer comics yet?
Yeah, I have. And they're okay.
Good response.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like, this is where I get a little frustrated with modern comics, in that, like, we're 6 issues in, and it's about 15 minutes worth of actual time happening over the last 6 months. I just kind of wish they would tell some more story. And maybe that's unfair, because there's a lot going on in the comics. So far, it's not my favorite take, but it's not like turning me off. So I'm more than happy to wait and see where it goes. But it's a little, I don't know. It's no Murder Falcon. I lost Omar.
Neither.
You enjoyed Murder Falcon.
I actually really enjoyed Murder Falcon. Yeah, I don't.
Good, man. Has a lot of heart.
As good as Murder Falcon.
There are things that he's doing in that in the comic that I really enjoyed. Like, but to me, of course, the greatest era is right there.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is we were talking about the ending of the Krakoa era, and a lot of people are upset, and some people are like, oh, finally we're getting back to the basics, or and then there's people like, I don't care anymore. I feel like the Krakoa era for a lot of people is kind of the way people felt about Transformers Phase 2.
You know what? I agree with that, because I kind of feel the same way about the Krakoa.
Like a lot of ladies cosplaying characters from the Krakoa era more. Like I was telling, I think it was on one of my Saturday streams. I was talking about I had never seen so many female cosplayers cosplaying Transformer characters until Phase 2.
Oh, yeah.
And it's mainly the characters from Phase 2. And I feel like that's what's happening with Krakoa. Like we have so many more cosplayers that are focusing on that era than the classic stuff.
Well, I mean, it's such a fresh take for old characters. And let's be real. I think we are so starved for new content that still pings our I'm familiar with all of this and don't have to get to know a new thing, but stories told in a new way. That's why the James Roberts stuff, the Phase 2 stuff, is so grabby, because it's like so different than all the Transformers stuff before it, but yet it's like I'm familiar with all these characters, so I can just jump straight into this story. Krakoa was the same way. Like I hadn't read X-Men comics for years before that, I think, because I'd picked up a handful and be like, well, I don't understand where this story started, and I don't understand where it has ended. And it's focusing primarily on the characters that I do not like. And then Krakoa comes along, and there's a whole lot that you've got to just basically like drink the Kool-Aid and jump right in, right? But like the way that they put everything on hold and started fresh with it, and didn't worry too much about saying, well, this is how this fits into the grander scheme of the Marvel universe. It's basically just roll with it. I'm sad to see it coming to an end. I've been reading it in collected edition, so I'm behind. I haven't started fall yet, but
I just got to all of the trades past the Hellfire Gala, and now I'm waiting for Fall and Rise.
Yeah,
and that will be the end. I am excited for the new creative teams, though. Like that's pretty cool who they're going with, and I like all the artists just about. So yeah, it's like every time X-Men gets relaunched, I still get excited. It could be good, it could be crap. I don't know, Well, we'll see, but there's always it always brings out the inner child. Like,
speaking of X-Men relaunch,
you said X-Men 97. That's what I heard.
Let's talk about Cyclops in X-Men 97.
Oh man, you're finally getting your justice for Cyclops, dude.
Cyclops in that first episode, that was the greatest thing I had ever seen. It doesn't actually work with his powers, but by God, it's cool as hell.
I thought about you. I was like, I bet Dan's sitting there with a hard on watching this.
I thought about DT,
that first battle scene where he's just throwing himself around the room, Capcom style, and then like,
oh my God, that was what a cool use of his power.
The just falling out of the. Oh man, it was so great.
He's leaving a giant. What an asshole! He's leaving a giant crater. Like, don't worry about me, Storm. I'll catch myself. Oh, yo, when he said to me, my X-Men. I love the first 2 episodes.
I've only seen
the first so quick that I was like, okay, maybe I need to separate myself from the comics to enjoy this, because holy crap, they just went like that through this Inferno saga that I thought was going to be like the ending of the season.
Oh, see,
I've only seen the first 2, and I'm a big fan of the old cartoon back in the day.
A few minutes into the second episode, I haven't gotten very far.
Oh, you haven't got? Okay, well, that's all I will say then. But I have enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because I wasn't the biggest fan of the original series. I just thought it was just there.
The Saturday morning cartoon? Really?
Yeah, because at that time I was watching anime, baby. I was like, I don't want nobody dying here. Nobody's getting decapitated. No,
he would only watch the X-Men with the Japanese opening that made it around YouTube 20 years later.
Oh, the shock opening.
Oh yeah, that is good.
Yeah. Like I love, even though I never read okay, I shouldn't say I never read. I didn't read as many of the X-Men comics when I was a kid. I read like X Factor and stuff, but I
I know,
love,
Rob.
that cartoon, the games, all those type of things. So this, like, I've only seen 2 episodes of X-Men 97, but I was cautiously optimistic because sometimes like my cartoons, like He-Man and She-Ra, my cartoons from my day are like, they get a little bit and like not what I remembered. And there's some bits of that too. Like I remember staring at Rogue's delicious booty, and I think it's disappeared. It's fine, but Cyclops was awesome in episode 1. So like it's like this is making up for this. It's fine. Look. You're giggling. You're making fun of me.
Oh, I just saw the internet having a fit. Like that's the world we live in, where they're arguing about Rogue's booty. But the animation in that original show is so choppy that you could take it a different frame from the same episode and be like, look, Rogue's booty is also gone from the original series. Yeah, at that time I was watching anime and I was like, X-Men, I've got the comic books, I don't need the show. And I'd watch it, but like I have no nostalgia for it. It's there. It had a kick-ass intro. And it did give us the voices for the characters that would show up in the fighting games. So we did have that.
We got the exact same actors. And for me, it's also like Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse talking so much trash. The things that they say, like humanity is nothing but a glimmer of roaches about the scorched earth. Of like, who comes up with this?
Oh, now see, for me, the only thing I remember them saying is what was in the Talking Toy Biz toys. So,
oh yeah.
So it's like Sinister knows what your future holds.
Sinister knows what your future holds. Yeah.
What does that even mean? No, he doesn't. He's not a soothsayer. Yo, the Goblin Queen, though, when she was sitting on that throne, I caught that. So the Goblin Queen is interesting because the toy has pants, but in the show, they're just high boots. They're not total pants. Because everybody remembers the Goblin Queen costume from the comic book. That you started reading that comic a boy, you walked out a man.
You're like
when Rob said he didn't read many X-Men comics as a kid. He met
there's a couple that I have.
That's what he meant when he said he read X Factor.
You all know what I mean.
Where I worked, so that's the only day I could buy. So like that was.
So I was like, there's no way they could do the Goblin Queen costume in the cartoon, and I mean they obviously they did. Although I am surprised at some of the things that they're doing that they couldn't do before. Right, like there's blood, like Cyclops when he's getting punched by characters, and Wolverine saying "Piss me off."
Seen on a cartoon. Nice. Yeah, Goblin Queen's outfit. There
are blatant continuity problems at various points in the animation in different episodes. Absolutely. But also, Adam, we grew up with Transformers Season 3. where the animators were just like, who's this robot again? Yeah, he's going to be the same size as all the other robots. I think my favorite animation mistake
is in front of this guy, but it's going to be behind the guy who's also in front of this guy.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. My favorite animation mistake is Bruticus, and then all the Combaticons are the same size. And then I'm sitting here explaining to my daughter, because she's like, don't they make up Bruticus? This is when she was little. Don't they make up Bruticus? And I'm like, yes.
Yes,
but
child, that is true.
All be there.
Now let me tell you a story about ACOM.
Oh my gosh, dude. The mistakes in Transformers Season 3 are the stuff of legend.
Well, I just love that they're making toys of those mistakes specifically.
The Super 7 toys or which ones?
No.
Of course Dan has one.
Of course, yeah, I want to see.
So, all right.
These look big, Dan.
Masterpiece Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Masterpiece Hot Rod. Got it.
Here is Target Masterpiece Hot Rod that is covered or colored like the ACOM Season 3 model. So like I don't know if you could see it, but like
his pants are different colors.
Are different colors, and his like he's this dark maroon with like his windows are down here now.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I mean this coloring is specifically based off the screwed up model from Season 3.
Huh.
And is that like an official release, or is that
this is the you know, they re-release every masterpiece they do in at least one other color these days, for the most part, to try to make up the money. But yeah, they did a Target Master hot rod, which is funny because, you know, he wasn't a Target Master in Japan, so it's a weird toy. But
that's really cool. Of
The
course,
same bottle.
of course, you have this variant.
different
Of
color.
course you do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Arctic Attack Batman.
yeah,
The old Kenner recycle, rinse, repeat. Yeah, I've enjoyed. Have you watched it, Andrew? X-Men '97.
I have not. Nope, haven't watched it yet.
Andrew,
What have you watched?
No,
recently?
I know. What have I watched recently? Let's see. I finally caught up. You know me, all right? I'm always the resident. I'm way behind, like 2 years behind. I finally caught up on The Mandalorian. Yeah, that was like, what, 2 years ago? And other than that, Sarah and I are slowly going through the original Star Trek. In fact, we were watching The Trouble with Tribbles right when Dan texted me. Was like, dude, we go on live in 1 minute. I was like,
Quick,
oh,
Dan. What season was that, Dan? What season is The Trouble with Tribbles, Dan?
why would I know that?
I thought you were the resident Star Trek guy.
No, I'm the resident Star Wars geek.
No, you're the resident Transformers
Shit
guy. Who's the
together.
resident?
no, that's Tina. Tina is Star Trek.
Tina! Damn
Yeah.
it. Tina's the resident Star Trek guy. Gal.
Gal.
Person, whatever.
Yeah, it's not me.
Oh, that's cool, man. You're going back and watching that stuff. I remember
Yeah.
you giving me, like, I remember going on a car ride. We were going somewhere on a trip, and you broke down the history of Star Trek, why it was trash, why it got good, and then all the other seasons. And I was like, it reminded me of your dad whenever we'd go on trips. Your dad would tell me stories, and I'd fall asleep. Yeah, it was kind of just like, I'm like, oh, he's just like his dad. Your dad would be so proud. You just conked out when you're like, so that begins Star Trek season 2.
So Data and Spock are actually the same character.
I wake up and Andrew's talking about Data's emotion chip, and I'm like, oh man, that's awesome, dude.
Nerd. Something.
Yes, I
Other
got the
news.
beginning and I got the tail end. I got it.
Perfect. All right. Well, then I'll keep that up from now on.
Yeah, keep telling me
Good
more and more
question.
Star Trek stories. You guys
All right,
doing
I'm
any
out of power.
conventions? Have you gotten to like Trekker conventions?
No, I've never been to a Trek convention before. Maybe one of these days. I haven't really looked into
Really?
it.
You should,
Really? You need
man.
to come in a red shirt. That seems like something you would do. Be in a red shirt and like go to a Trek convention.
Dude, that's a dangerous thing to do. But speaking of Trek stuff, we did just put out a new short film.
See what I did there?
A week and a half ago. Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
the link in the chat,
I
please.
will put the link in the chat. It is
James,
called.
no, James, can you put the link in the chat? James has got this. Don't worry.
Yeah, thanks, James. Yeah, James is on point.
James is the man.
All right, you put him on the spot. All right, let's go. Let's see what happens.
He's
All right, I gotta go. My battery power is leaking, but hey, keep playing
on your new
Gamers
Retro
Podcast
King.
together. Love you guys. Peace.
See you,
Good,
Rob.
man.
And do nerdy things.
We will try. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you should totally go to the convention. He's not a mod. Why have you been James? James is a mod on everybody's channel. James, I'm giving you mod powers. You have my
All right.
blessings.
Let me go find it real quick. Hold on.
So what is this one called?
So this one is called, I got to be really careful when I say it. It's called Formication. Formication with an M, not an N. Right.
Yeah. Did you come up with that title, Andrew?
I did not. No.
I did not come up with that title. I'm really disappointed. Oh man, no wonder I was getting weird prices on Retro Kink. Retro Kink.
Oh, well, guys, I gotta jump off too.
Retro Tink.
Yeah, I gotta go and record a video. I just wanted to jump in here.
What
Shoot
a
the
threat.
crap. Oh, there it is. Look at that.
There it is. There it is. Go check it out. It's a little bit of a monster of the week kind of episode this time. We had some fun with some gooey special effects. Had I realized at the time that I could have just grabbed them out of my moldy walls, I would have done that. But instead, we came up with some stuff. So yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments in there.
Go and check it out.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, Dan.
I think we're gonna call it.
Yeah,
See y'all
yeah. I gotta go and
soon.
record. So I just wanted to come and talk to my friends. I haven't talked to y'all in a while.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you joined.
Adios.
Well, I did on my birthday, but that doesn't count because I was really drunk. So yeah, you all take care. It's good to see you all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. See y'all in the chat.
Bye, everybody.
We're out.